Greetings. Check 1 2 1 2 2 audio. Audio 2 the 2 audio. All right, peace, greetings, family. This is Professor Griff, and as y'all can see, I'm actually getting prepared, but yeah, kind of like, yeah, here. Anyway, in the meantime, between time, hope everyone is doing all well, and this is Professor Griff right here on the show we affectionately call Arm the Masses. All right, because we're arming the masses with information. Hopefully, you can take the information to educate yourself and get a knowledge of self. In the meantime, in between time, you have to stay grounded. There's a lot of myths and disinformation out there. I saw a boatload of it this morning about Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, and a couple of other people. A, they didn't exist. B, they were spies. Y'all make up your mind. Don't fall for this madness. All right? Get grounded. Know and understand your history. All right? Anyway, shout out to Kalaji Chabachanga. All right? We had a beautiful experience Sunday. Soul Cinema Sunday. Shout out to Janine. All right? Shout out to Soleil. Shout out to everyone that participated in the Soul Cinema Sundays. We checked out The Last Dragon. I think the next Soul Cinema Sundays in July this month is going to be The Spook Who Sat by the Door, my man Sam Greenlee. All right? Sam Greenlee's film, The Spook Who Sat by the Door. All right, in the meantime, in the between time, we're going to do a check-in to see no audio. Somebody said no audio. Why don't you have audio? It should be audio. I'm on Instagram, so it should be audio. I don't know what that means, no audio. I don't know what that means, no audio. Someone said it's good. I don't know. I can hear you. We can hear you. I don't know who that was. Anyway, let's kind of get centered, get grounded, and get focused. All right. Gerald checking in as always. Shout out to you, Gerald. All right. Shout out to everyone on IG. Really appreciate y'all taking your time out to join me in this discussion. The discussion today, they released the MLK files, but did they release the MLK files? I call this covering up the cover up. All right, or should I do that the other way? Anyway, covering the cover up. All right. Some of the things I say and will say, you're probably not going to agree with, because if you don't know what the cover up is, how do you know they're not covering up the cover up? Some of y'all still believing that the lone assassin theory, Lee Harvey Oswald, some of y'all still, but come on. I don't know what you believe. Well, way beyond your belief, if you dive into facts and start connecting the dots, as Steve Coakley taught us to do, then you might see things through the lens that Professor Griff sees things, the lens I see things through. All right, they're covering up their cover up. I did some research and I looked at, first of all, it's 2,020-something thousand, 203,000 worth of pages, and it is ridiculous amount of pages. All right. The newly released MLK files. What is in them? And then the most important question, what did they leave out? All right. We're going to dive into that. All right. So on the check-in, thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate it. All right. I want to take a brief moment to do something that I think that we all should do when a hero passes on to the ancestral realm. When a soldier passes on to the ancestral realm, we should honor that particular individual. I want to give a very painful kind of shout out to my good brother Malcolm Jamal Warner. I think we should have a moment of silence. I think we should be quiet for a minute so we can reflect on everything he contributed to our growth, our stability, advancing our knowledge. I was just saying this morning that he is one of those individuals that you may not look at him as a revolutionary or radical or whatever, or someone, you may not look at him in that way, but he survived it. He survived Hollywood. He became an artist, a poet, a teacher, a scholar, all right, a musician. So we should honor him. All right. Let's bow our heads, close our eyes, so much so that you tap into and you can hear the blood flowing through your veins. Quiet. That's the kind of quiet we need. All right. Let's bow our heads in a silent meditation in the remembrance of our good brother, Malcolm Jamal Warner. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. This is for our brother. We remember you, bro. We'll always remember you. We will always speak your name. When we pour libation, we will remember you. All right?
Marcus, Richard, Jesse, Adam, Carla, Gordon, James, Philip, Nat, showed them not to play with us. Duke, Langston, Thurgood, Robert, Hank, Jesse, Jackie, Muhammad, Paul, Stokely, Mega, Webb. About 3 Benjamins, a good 2 Freds. One like Harriet, Rosa, Ida, Shirley, Sojourner, Madam, Maya, Mary, Bessa, Ella, and Retta. Even baby Ruby was out here applying pressure. Gil, John, Booker, Sid, George, you nuts if you don't know who he is. Bayard, Charles, Roy, Carter, Cecil, just for drinking them white folks' water. All kings and queens, yes, for real. Until the ones that we lost, like Emmett Till, and all those is here, we gonna continue to hold it down. Say it loud, black, and I'm proud.
Indeed. We are black and we are proud. You're not going to, and we're not going to allow you to come and write us off the essence of who and what we are. We're not going to allow you to write us off as a color, as a crayon. You understand what I'm saying? We're going to be the goddamn crayon. We're going to be the whole damn box. All right? Because if it wasn't for the black crayon, none of them other crayons in the box would exist. All right? Plain and simple. We are the essence of it all. We are the essence that birthed everything else into existence. And from everything, all right, everything came by way of black. Now, regardless of what language you use and what you call black, I call it the essence. I call it melanin. Like Black Dot said, beware and be mindful of the fraudcasters. All right? Be a lot more diligent today in this digital social media kind of arena that we're operating in. All right? We're the foundation of it all. We're the essence of it all. Deeper than the foundation, we're the essence of it all. All right? It was the black spark, the black dot. It was the black spark of light that gave birth to humanity. That is us. All right? So to kind of codify us and put us in between the pages of a dictionary, a law book, or whatever, it can't be done. All right? I heard one brother say in reference to the sister that was beat up in Queens, when they went to go protest, they said them people that beat her up called us monkeys. That brother said, we'll take that. We'll be monkeys. As a matter of fact, the monkeys are coming. Matter of fact, we're going to bring the whole goddamn zoo. Right. Anyway, shout out to Rabbit Productions. What's good? Monique Hill, what's good with you? All right. The Destined One, what's happening? All right. P. Brown Bay, what's going on? Yep. Anyway, let's dive into this subject. Before I do, let me make one more announcement real quick, fam. Myself and Soleil. Do I have the flyer? Let me see if I can put the flyer up so y'all can see. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the flyer. I'm going to find the flyer. While I'm finding the flyer, me and Soleil are actually going to do a lecture August 2nd, as a matter of fact, which is going to be my daughter's born day. Shout out to Kiki Chang, to Kia Khalid Shah. All right. The lecture is entitled, I need y'all to write this down. The lecture is entitled The Birthing Song. It's going to be a lecture and slide presentation by yours truly, Professor Griff, based on my book, The Birth. I will be breaking down the book, doing an overview on the book on the birthing song of the women of the Himba tribe in Namibia. All right. Very deep, esoteric, metaphysical science on how we bring children forth via the song, via spirit, via vibration, via frequency. And I'll be diving into that. Soleil is going to speak first, and she's going to do mantra and the yoga of sound. All right, this is happening at the Goddess Temple of Love, 6467 East Strickland Street, Douglasville, Georgia. Those of y'all that are not in the ATL, because it's about 15, 20 minutes from downtown Atlanta. Those of y'all that are not in the area, all right, we're doing a live stream. All right. We brought the price down considerably low simply because we are still in the process of building the Goddess Temple of Love, but we brought it down to the point because we're suffering through some serious economic times right now. All right. Couple of trips to Starbucks because I know some of y'all still going. After you hit the dollar store, Wally World, Targets, and all them other places that you're still going with, that we're protesting, all right, you don't spend $27. So the price is $27. It's going to be live streamed via Zoom. All right. You can go to the Devi Tribe Wellness site, DeviTribeWellness.com. Devi, DEVI, TribeWellness.com. All right. Of course, we're going to have some Q&A. And then, matter of fact, before that, Soleil is going to speak on and actually do mantras, actually do and talk about the yoga of sound. Get your tickets now. There's only limited space available. All right. Limited space available. All right. My new book is coming out. I'm launching something tonight. I hope y'all be able to tune in tonight, where I'm launching it as an audio book, then as an ebook, and then as a hard copy book. All right. I'm going to say this, and I mean no disrespect to anyone. All right. I don't mean disrespect to anyone. Family, we are not reading. We got to step it up. A lot of times, how these people can come on, these platforms and this kind of thing. These people can come on these platforms and take Black history and other things out of context simply because we don't read. We have to be avid readers. We have to study. We have to cross-reference. All right? We have to do these things. It is a must that we do these things. All right? It is a must. You have to read. You have to cross-reference. We have to get together. I see a lot of people getting online on these, what do they call them? TikTok conversations. And I listen for a minute, but I rarely see references. People talk out of their emotions and their feelings, but where is the references? Give me some references where I can go back and stuff. As a matter of fact, you know what I think we might need to do, fam? We might need to do a damn book club on TikTok. Pick one book, go at it, piece it apart, yada, 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 whoopty, whoopty, whoop, make it happen. All right? And I think the book that we probably need to start off with is The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. We need to get on TikTok and we need to piece it apart because a lot of y'all just not reading. All right? Anyway, today's subject, MLK files. We're not going to do a deep dive because it's going to take time to go over 237,000 damn pages. That's a lot. All right. So let's bring up the first document so we can kind of dive into this thing so we can talk. Shout out to everyone that's joining me this afternoon. Really appreciate you for taking your time out to come and join me. I'm going to open up the phone line in a minute, but it says the Trump administration releases a trove of files on Martin Luther King Jr. All right. Matter of fact, let's not start there. Hold on, fam. Hold on. Not there. We're not going to start there. You know where I want to start? Let me start here. Hold on, fam. My bad. Give me a second. I want to start here. Let's start here. Can we do that? All right, let's start here.
Nearly 60 years after the tragic assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a major chapter in American history is being brought into the light. On Monday, the Trump administration released over 230,000 files related to the federal government's surveillance and investigation of Dr. King, a promise made during Donald Trump's presidential campaign. In a statement on social media, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard announced the historic release, writing, "Today, after nearly 60 years of questions surrounding the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we are releasing 230,000 MLK assassination files." These files, disclosed in partnership with the FBI, CIA, Justice Department, and the National Archives, shed light on the events surrounding Dr. King's murder at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4, 1968. President Trump stated that under his leadership, no stone would be left unturned in the search for full transparency. Dr. King's children, Martin Luther King III and Bernice King, were notified ahead of the public release. In a heartfelt statement, they emphasized the deeply personal nature of these records. "We ask those who engage with the release of these files to do so with empathy, restraint, and respect for our family's continuing grief," they wrote. "This has been a devastating loss for our family for over 57 years. The release follows similar moves by the Trump administration earlier this year. Declassifying records tied to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy and Senator Robert F. Kennedy. As Americans begin to comb through this massive archive of newly unsealed documents, historians, scholars, and the public alike are reminded of the power and pain behind these pivotal moments in our nation's past. This release is not just about history. It's about truth, transparency, and remembrance.
All right. I think that's a good place to start. So it's a coordinated efforts of the FBI, CIA, Justice Department, and of course, some shadowy figures. All right. some shadowy figures. Of course, you already know what I'm talking about. You may not know the who, because a lot of these people's names were changed and other things that went down. All right? Okay. All right. With that said, the recent release of the previously classified, now they're declassified, documents related to the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. offers a glimpse into the FBI's activities leading up to and following his death. There's very obvious reasons why the family did not want a lot of these files to be cracked open, because the government was planning on, after doing surveillance, planning on the unaliving of black leaders in America. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. being on that list. Before we move on, before you continue to make statements in the chat, go look up COINTELPRO. All right, what was the COINTELPRO? All right, I'm gonna look it up with you. COINTEL, counterintelligence pro. What was COINTELPRO? What was J. Edgar Hoover's COINTELPRO? All right, come on, fam. You at least have to know that. And then, do you have the film, the documentary film, the FBI's War on Black Leaders? You have to get it. You have to watch it. You got to study it. You got to piece it apart. All right? The COINTELPRO. Can somebody come on? My internet is running slow. Can somebody come on and tell me what was the objective of the COINTELPRO? Give me the official definition of what they said. COINTELPRO. What did they say that they were going to do? Charles Williams, everyone else, we got that. I'm asking y'all, let's start at COINTELPRO. What is the COINTELPRO? Because if we don't outline that, a lot of times people coming on might get lost, or people that don't know what COINTELPRO is might get lost. What is it actually saying? What did they say in the COINTELPRO files? A series of covert and illegal projects conducted between 1956 and 1971 by the United States Bureau of Investigation. Positive Soul. Thank you very much, Queen. All right. Come on, let's go deeper. Come on, fam. We can do it. Counterintelligence operation preventing the rise of the Black Messiah. Right. So if they saw a Black Messiah coming, who did they think that Black Messiah was? All right. Give me the rest of the definition. Let's be thorough. Remember, this is still Serious Minds, RNTV. We just coming to you via Arm the Masses, Black Power Media Reloaded. All right. Counterintelligence operations to prevent the rise of a Black Messiah. What did the full definition say? Come on, talk to me, fam. Wait, where's my phone at? Hold on. Because y'all killing me. That guy, thank you. It was to monitor, infiltrate, discredit, and disrupt Black organizations. All right. What else did it say, Charles Williams? To prevent the rise of the Black Messiah, we got that. Positive Soul, aimed at surveilling and infiltrating, discrediting, and disrupting political organizations. All right. Not only political organizations, how about religious ones? We still working on the definition, y'all. Come on, talk to me. All right, so for the people that's just joining us, we're talking about the MLK files that was just released by the Trump administration. And my take is just from the outstart, they're covering up the cover up. Because if you, like a lot of people have already done, go through what they released, what did they leave out? So COINTELPRO, the counterintelligence program, was a covert initiative initiated by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which is the FBI, in 1956, aimed at surveilling, infiltrating, and disrupting various political organizations deemed radical in the United States. Initially focused on the Communist Party, the program expanded throughout the 1960s to include a range of groups such as the Black Panther Party, civil rights organizations, feminist groups, and various anti-war factions. COINTELPRO employed a variety of controversial tactics, including misinformation, illegal break-ins, and harassments to discredit and undermine these organizations and their leaders. All right. The program raised significant legal and ethical questions regarding the balance between national security and civil liberties within a democracy or a democratic society. Many techniques used by COINTELPRO, J. Edgar Hoover's COINTELPRO, were criticized for the illegal and ethical, unethical implications, as they often targeted individuals engaged in lawful political activities. COINTELPRO's activity came to light in 1971 when documents were stolen from the FBI's office, prompting political outrage and leading to the program's discontinuation. In 1974, the FBI issued a formal apology for its actions against domestic targets, acknowledging the harm impact in of the program on individuals and communities. COINTELPRO remains a significant topic of discussion regarding government overreach and the protection of civil rights in the United States of America. All right, COINTELPRO was a covert operation by the FBI. All right, they misdirect, discredit, and disrupt, otherwise neutralize specific individuals and groups. Dr. Martin Luther King was one of those particular individuals. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad of the Nation of Islam was one of those individuals. The Black Panther Party, all right, Black nationalist groups, whatever the groups are, all right. Now, you can read a book called The Bureau, The Secret History of the FBI. You could read the books, and the information is out there. So if you happen to watch someone going over these newly released files, know that everything is not in the files. This is the cover up of the cover up. All right, the MLK files. All right, so for some strange reason, my live keeps getting frozen. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. But that's normal. That's normal. All right. Now, when we go into the files, we're not going to go in line by line, paragraph by paragraph. We do need to say what some of the people are actually saying about the files, and then I'm going to open up, all right, for us to have that discussion. I'm supposed to open it up 1 minute ago, but hey. Trump administration releases a trove of files on Martin Luther King Jr. assassination. All right, mind you, the information that I went over in reference to these individuals talking about what's in the files was more so trying to still discredit him, even as he is now an ancestor. The man has been dead and gone, but over 230,000 files have been released. Some of them dealing with his behavior as they bugged his phone, office, and hotel room. Talked about how he smoked, how he drank, some of the women. It talked about all these things. It talked about Lee Harvey Oswald. It talked about, not Lee Harvey Oswald, it talked about all these other things. It talked about JFK. It talked about that assassination. It talked about Sirhan. It talked about Bobby Kennedy, John Kennedy. It talked about a whole bunch of other things. It talked about, oh man, it just went over a whole myriad of things. And I was like, wow, okay. So over 230,000 pages of documents. These include a combination of black and white scans potential internal FBI memos and this kind of thing. The whole idea of James Earl Ray being the lone assassin, which the family has said no. And then since then, the family has actually proven that James Earl Ray was not a lone assassin. Ray's cellmate claims documents described Ray's former cellmate discussions with Ray about the alleged assassination plot. He was used as a patsy. We already know these things. Then you dive into the CIA records. How is there CIA records and the CIA is not even by law allowed to operate inside the United States? But how did the CIA get records? Documents relating to the international search for Ray after he fled the United States. This is where the CIA comes in because James Earl Ray fled. It ended up in Canada and in other places, and they had to track them down. This is how the CIA was able to have records on who James Earl Ray was, and then connected it with the FBI records, and all of these things were sealed. All right. Foreign evidence, information, and a Canadian police department as Ray fled to the UK after Canada. And then a couple of audio recordings by James Earl Ray himself. All right. So what's included? The FBI surveillance recordings, notably the release, does not include details of the FBI surveillance into King that some historians believe could obtain records that was held even from some of the FBI agents and the overall body. All right. Hoover's anonymously to animosity towards JFK. I mean, Dr. Martin Luther King. He had a deep disdain, all right, for black men, especially straight black men. He favored them individuals on the other side because he was a cross-dresser, and we can now say that it's public record and public knowledge he was a homosexual, and he moved from that point of reference. So his disdain and animosity for Dr. Martin Luther King came from different points of reference. All right, and then continuing doubts about the official narrative, despite the official conclusion that James Earl Ray acted alone. All right, it's unfounded. We already know that to be the cover-up. All right, procedural insights. The documents offered a detailed look at the FBI's investigative methods and procedures. All right, and then missing revelations. Experts and historians have generally stated that the documents do not appear to contain any major new revelations that drastically alter the existing understanding of the assassination and the events surrounding the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. Nothing new. Nothing who? The National Archive have published thousands of newly digitized documents. That is not true. They're not new. This stuff has been here. Over 230,000 files have been released. But it's nothing new here, fam. Nothing new. All of these things are already known. There's a couple of documentary films out that are 2 and 3 hours long that go more in depth than these files. All right? I think to a degree, this is a distraction away from the Abercrombie and Finch trial that went on, a distraction from the Epstein files that need to be released. This is a distraction from the woman that's the head of the, let me pull it up. She now wants to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell. Look at what's going on now, and then ask yourself the question, why release the files now? So while they got you looking over to the left, what are they doing over here? What are some of the things that are going on right now that are pressing right now as we speak? And then you can say to yourself, oh, this is a distraction. I'm not going to be like them other people that say, oh, man, it's just a distraction, and not tell you distracting from what? What is the question that we need to ask? What are they releasing these files for, and why at this time? All right? Of course. The Diddy thing is happening. What else is happening? Pam Bundy. Thank you very much, Alex Little. Pam Bundy. Basically saying there's nothing to see here. Nope. No Epstein files. Whatever. Nothing to see here, fam. While at the same time you release the Dr. King files, and all of a sudden everybody's all looking to the left now, while this other stuff gets swept under the rug. I'm going to pull up one more document, and then I'm going to open up the floor for callers to call in. We only have a few minutes on, so I'm going to put that in now. That'll give us 20 minutes to discuss this thing. Please come on with factual facts, reports, documents, receipts. Don't come on with just your emotions. All right? Latanya Watson, thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right. Right now, if y'all would like to donate, all right, or purchase the book or whatever, you can go to my website, www.publicnme.me. Get more information. I'm posting more information on Facebook on how you can get the book. If you want to donate to the platform, all right, you can donate via Cash App. It's $ Professor Griff. All right. Or go to paypal.me/Professor Griff Corp. All right. Or just text me 678-557-2919. All right. That guy, you got to tell us what our Executive Order 1352-6 is. People are just not going to know. Chance Rogers, you absolutely out of line with that. Absolutely not. Yeah, no, I don't have some fictitious thing going on. All right? Absolutely not. Yeah, that's borderline for dismissal, Chance Rogers, but I'm going to give you another break. All right? Yeah, we're sending you to the principal's office so you can get a note before you come back in class. For real. Thank you, that guy. How you going to declassify information that was already sealed for 25 years after the fact? Here we go. All right. Let me see. Nope, not that one. I think it's this one. Share this one. Talk about it over here. MLK Jr. files released by Trump administration. All right. I don't like this news source, but the brief, the release involved estimated over 200,000 pages of records that have been under court imposed seal since 1977. That's someone's whole career sitting down redacting these daggone files. Yep, that one's not giving us. Now I don't trust Fox anyway. All right. Yeah. Yeah, Chad, you've been put on the ban list forever. So unless you change your profile picture and your whole name, you can't ever come back on here. You out. Later. See ya. And I wouldn't want to be you. Faithful E says, I heard somebody say MLK did civil right just because wanted white women. I thought, huh? Yeah. No. Stop. Come on. Thank you very much, Gerald. Keep in mind, fam, these are open platforms. Everybody is not with us. Everybody is not in that mindset. Some people are suffering from mental illness, and they do come on these platforms. Some people come on these platforms as other people, and they have an agenda. All right? Just so you'll know, there's people that are texting me on my other cell phone, all right, letting me know who's in the chat, who's doing what. Shout out to Quan. All right, shout out to Johnny Taylor, Little Goddess, Alex Littlejohn. All right. So come on, fam. Stop. Troll farms, you're right. They mass produce these kind of Negroes. The Weather Underground broke into the FBI office and stole the papers. It was the Weather Underground that did that. Thank you, Crystal. Crystal House. All right. BK. All right. Professor Griff, can you please repeat your website? Okay, it's www. I'm going to put it in the chat also. www.public. The word public. Then it's the letters N as in Nancy, M as in Mary, E as in elephant. .me. All right. Or simply warriorsinthegarden.org. But the public enemy.me, you'll be able to get me. You know my phone number. It's 678-557-2919. The beautiful thing about the thing that we're doing, August 2nd, let me put it back on the screen. Miss Watson, the beautiful thing about this, it's going to be live streamed. All right. I'm going to talk about the birthing song. Women, you need to hear this. Brothers, you need to hear this. All right. We're going to be talking about the birthing song. If you're in the music, if you're in this meditation, mantras, chanting, all right. If you're an artist, all right. If you are a poet, a singer, all right. We're on our way to Tulum, Mexico in April to do a creators retreat. Inside of the creators retreat, we're going to have writers dialogue, and we're going to talk All right. It's a beautiful thing. Writers, poets, singers. All right. We're definitely going to do a tribute to our good brother Malcolm Jamal Warner. All right. We have to do this thing. We gotta live stream this thing so people can understand what the birthing song is, because it's very critical and integral part when we approach the idea of birthing a child into existence, and even birthing music, sounds, frequency, and vibration into existence. This is why Soleil is going to speak before website is publicnme.me. And of course, y'all already know my phone number, 678-557-2919. Any information y'all need, text me about the lecture, the birthing song, and mantra, and the yoga of sound. All right. You can go to Soleil's site. Hold on. Let me put the banner. All right. Let me put the banner up. It's at the bottom of the screen, www.Devi Tribe Wellness, DEVI, tribewellness.com. All the information is there. Let's get back to the conversation. All right. Why is it so necessary to release the files? And then let's ask some basic questions. Who was keeping a file on Dr. King from the get-go, as we used to say back in the day? All right. Who had a file? And then why was there a need to have a file? All right. And then why is it so important that you keep certain things out of the file? Yeah, I know. They're messing the feed up. We got to expect that. When this kind of information comes out, we got to expect them to mess the feed up. That's how they move. Faithful E, I understand what you're saying, but that conservative, liberal conversation, yeah, that's not how they move, sis. That's how they deceive to get you in certain camps so they can get you arguing and fighting one another, while the other agenda, the real agenda, is happening. Because I'm going to be honest with you, in my studies and in my kind of trying to understand Dr. Martin Luther King and his philosophy and his ideology and how he moved, I rarely heard Dr. King talk about Jesus. So when we start talking about liberal and conservatives and religious organizations versus political and this kind of thing, yeah. Oh, Faithful E, you're a dude. Oh, got you. I don't think that was the totality of his work. You said he worked for Rockefeller. All right. Send us a link or something where we could show where he worked for Rockefeller. But I don't think that was the totality. What was Dr. King planning to do in his upcoming years after 1968? That is the question that we need to tackle for the few minutes that we're on here today. You're right, Faithful E. I don't think he didn't know he was being used. That's why he said, when he finally figured out, he says he integrated his people into a burning house. All right. Dr. Martin Luther King said that. He said, I fear with this integration thing, I've integrated my people into a burning house. All right. What was the Poor People's March on Washington, D.C. about? I hope you all don't think it was about getting a job. No, Faithful E, deeper than that. He was assassinated. Not he just died. You act like he died from pneumonia or something, or he caught a cold, or he had an earache, or he snubbed his toe. No, we got to use the right terminology so young people watching this can know. He was assassinated by the United States government via their admission. What was he planning on doing after 1968? After the March on Washington, after going to Memphis and speaking up for the workers in Memphis. Thank you very much, Michelle. They can hit the like button. I'm gonna put how they can donate. Put the banner across the bottom of the screen. This is how you can donate. Michelle, thank you very much. Really appreciate you. I tend to forget those things because I get caught up into giving the information out, not thinking that this needs to be funded. Black Power Media Reloaded needs to be funded. Serious Minds need to be funded. And to ask for a dollar, dime, food stamp, Captain Crunch coupon is not a lot. I ask people to go on the site and purchase a book or whatever. All right, go to PayPal.com/Professor Griff or whatever, and just say, yo, Griff, I ain't got much, but I'm going to send $5 to your Cash App. All right? Or just say, Professor Griff, I can help you promote the thing that you and Soleil doing. Send me the information. I'll send it out to my people. There's different ways that you can contribute and help. All right? So he was planning on equality for all of the people. What economic plan did Dr. Martin Luther King set in motion that he was about to go and have people kind of go to Washington so we could discuss? What economic plan did he have, family? As a matter of fact, while y'all are digging that information up, what are the 5 books that Dr. King wrote? I said early in this broadcast, I said, we don't read. All right. How many of y'all did y'all know that he had 5 books out? Spent that time in the island of Jamaica writing, in other places writing. Thank you very much, Willie_Beeman. He was planning on getting the government to pay reparations. This is what Dr. Martin Luther King was headed towards, forcing the government of the United States to pay reparations. How many of y'all knew that? We need to get that letter, Michelle. What was the letter to America? The letter to America. All right. Yes. See, we only followed the well-dressed, polished version of the Dr. King that they fed us after neutralizing him. Then they named some streets in every black neighborhood after him and all that kind of thing, the celebration, and then we forget the real. It was in his book that was written while he spent time in the Birmingham jail. It was a series of 7 letters. All right. We know about 1 letter. Michelle, what are the other 6 letters? We heard the letter from the Birmingham jail. What was the other 6 letters? Mouthpiece, thank you very much. So let's all smash the like button up for the Minister of Information and give thanks, as I give thanks to you for y'all taking your time out being on here. All right. Thank you very much. Sylvia, I almost overlooked this. Miss Stand Back. The Trump's thing may be a door to continuing to lie and discredit MLK. Trust no government. Trust no government. Alexandria Pope said Dr. King stated that from 1964 to 1968, his dream had become a nightmare. We need to know the real Dr. King, all right? Not via the 230,000 pages of this particular released files from whomever, FBI files. Can I ask y'all something before I get off of here? If you think they had files on Dr. King, and that was back in the 60s, do you think they got a file on you in the 2000s? Palantir, these other companies, do you think they got a file on you? I am not one to be that idiotic, asinine, ignorant, whatever word you want to put on it, to think that they don't have a file on Professor Griff. Let me take these glasses off so I can look y'all in the face. I know they got a file on Professor Griff. One such police officer told me there was a local file in 3 states on Professor Griff: Florida, where I used to live, New York, where I used to live, and Atlanta. Do I know what's in the file? Some things, yeah. So if something come out about Professor Griff in the near and distant future, y'all know it's some agents putting some stuff out there about your brother, because I am very transparent, and most of y'all got my phone number. Yeah, Miss Watson, there's a file on you. Grow with me. There's a file on you. Those of y'all that are sitting back thinking there's not a file on you because you're not on the internet that much, or you don't have a program, or you don't have a YouTube channel, stop the blood clot crying. There's a file on you. There is a file on you. I'm not stupid to think there's not a file on me. I know there's one on me. I think what we need to start doing is have a collective file on some of these people that sell us out. You understand what I'm saying? Let's get a collective file. Because I'm sure if they took Professor Griff tomorrow, all right, y'all need to start going to look back. I'm like, oh, okay, wow. What were those instances? Where was he at? Who is he connected to? You understand what I'm saying? What was he doing? Thank you very much. One Uncle Dash Kale. We all have files on us. Don't be naive. Naive was the word I was looking for. Michelle should remember Steve Coakley was doing exactly what you said. He was getting a file on everyone who was giving them the information about the community collectively. You're right, grow with me. That file on me comes with the territory. I've accepted that. But there are some people that's operating behind the scenes that are contacting other people that might have a connection to Griff. You understand what I'm saying? So keep these things in mind. This is how they work. All right. This is how they move. All right. I got to get off here, fam. It's 1:02. I promised I'd be off here at 1. I got to keep my word. All right. This has been Professor Griff on Arm the Masses right here on Black Power Media Reloaded via Serious Minds RNTV. And we were discussing the MLK files. All right. What they're telling us and what they're not telling us. All right. This is the cover up of the cover up. All right. One last reminder for everyone. All right. The birthing song, mantra, and the yoga of sound. Professor Griff and Soleil, Saturday, August 2nd, at the Goddess Temple of Love in Douglasville. If you are not in Atlanta or the surrounding area, we're doing a live stream via Zoom. You can contact me at 678-557-2919. That's 678-557-2919. Remember, if you would like to send a donation, you could do that via Cash App. That's $ Professor Griff. All right. One last thing. I will be talking about my book, The Birth, the birthing song from the women of the Himba tribe in Namibia, Namibia, Africa. All right. I'll be diving into the metaphysical aspects of what that entails. Matter of fact, let me just read one last thing so I can make a note of it so I can. The